So the pedal board build has been completed, and I've got to let you into a little bit of a secret. Yes, the pedal board was gigged last week in Blackpool. How did it get on? Well, to be honest, stick with the video, guys, and I'll let you know a little bit later on. But before I do, we need to speak about what I've done to the pedal board. In our last video, we spoke about power supplies, and yes, it was a very boring video about power supplies and why we need them. But to be honest, I've not had a problem in getting to sleep since I last made that video a week or two ago. So where are we up to with the pedal board at the minute? I hear you ask. Well, in fact, I'll get it. It's just down here on the floor at the minute, and it's a bit of a weighty thing now. It's got loads of stuff going on, and I hope you can see it, guys. I'll stick some still images on the screen, and that's it in its almost final incarnation. We've got the power supply underneath. You can have a bit of a quick look at that, guys, under there. Don't know whether you can see it all, but it's all there. I'm going to put it down because it's quite heavy. But what has left the pedal board is the four-way channel switcher for the Laney IRT60H. This now sits by the side of my pedal board. It's out of the way, and that frees up a ton of room on my pedal board for lots and lots of pedals, and that's what we like. Of course, this has got my preamp function on it. It's got the reverb, it's got the channel switching from clean to dirty, and most importantly, it's got the separate lead channel, which is what I use when I'm gigging. So that's to do with the Laney IRT60H. The amplifier itself is not here in the studio at the minute because it's ready for gigging, and we're back on the Laney L20H, which is behind me in the room at the back. So this pedal board build has got to perform two functions. One is the live gig environment, as you've already probably worked out, and secondly is here in the studio, and both are very, very different gigs. And how that all came about was very simply this, in terms of putting a Strymon timeline on the pedal board to make songs like David Bowie's Let's Dance sound more authentic. Yes, it cost a good few quid and I had to buy a power supply to power it, but now I've got those. I can use them in many different ways in songs and at gigs in the future. Right, so if I just plonk this on my table here, and you should be able to see on your screen around about now how the pedal board currently is. So to the bottom right hand side, we've got the brilliant Voodoo Lab Wazoo wah pedal. The only thing I've done to that, guys, is I've lowered it down the pedal board slightly to a bit of easier reach, is more ergonomics more than anything. To the left of that, we've got the brilliant Polytune 3 guitar tuner. Guys, I can't stress how important these are in terms of you've got to be in tune, and that's it. It's dead simple, dead straightforward. If you've not got a tuner, you're wasting your time. To the left of that, we've got the Hypergravity by TC Electronics. That's my compression pedal. That's absolutely brilliant, hugely affordable, and it spends a lot of its time on now, unless I've activated the Big Muff by Electro Harmonics. That is to its left-hand side, and I switch the compressor off, as I've mentioned in other videos. To the left of that, we've got a TS808 Tube Screamer. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. To the left of that, we've got the MXR Phase 90 Script, which has been on the board for years. Then in the effects loop, we've got the MXR Analog Chorus, same settings as normal. To the left of that, we've got the Carbon Copy Analog Delay Pedal, which is just there at the minute. To the left of that is the Strymon timeline. We've spoken about that and the reasons why it's gone on the pedal board and the problems we've had surrounding power supplies, and that's what's resulted in these videos. That's the Strymon timeline. To the left of that, we've got the Black Country Customs Secret Path Reverb, and after that I need a quick brew. So when I'm gigging, I use the Laney IRT60H, which is a 3-channel amplifier, and I get all the clean channels, the dirty channels and the lead channels. It's got a preamp in it, and you're probably thinking, why have we got a Ibanez Tube Screamer TS808 on the pedal board? Well, to be honest, guys, it's for when I'm in the studio here at the house. The L20H at the back, some guitars need a little bit of extra help in getting the vibes that I need from them in the studio environment. So for example, the awesome Les Paul Gold Top, which is here, guys, this does not need any help whatsoever in the studio here. It produces enough grunt. I can sound like Jimmy Page with just a guitar cable in the amplifier. Enough said. However, the Gibson Firebird 7 needs a little bit more help, and that's where the Tube Screamer comes in at the minute, albeit I've not really dialed it in yet. What I can do, guys, I can whip that tube screamer off and I can probably stick on a blues driver instead, or indeed the brilliant Boss Distortion DS1 and try that to see what it does for me and how it helps me in terms of tone. So I've got a few options in basically moving things around the pedal board to help guitars in the studio environment. Now, just going back to the Firebird, it can sound a little bit thin and a little bit weedy in comparison to like the Gibson Les Paul Standard. So that's why the tube screamer's there at the minute, because it can just fatten up the mid-range a little bit and just give me a little bit more dirt. But what I don't want to do is lose the integrity of the Firebird in trying to make it sound like a Les Paul. Okay, so there's enough about that at the minute to do with overdrive and everything else. So just on the pedal board at the minute, guys, we've got 2 delay pedals. The first one being my absolute, one of my favourite all-time pedals is the MXR Carbon Copy Delay, which is analog. With a kick of the switch, I know exactly what it can do, and it's absolutely brilliant. I've gigged it to death for the last sort of 7 years or so, and it's absolutely brilliant. Now, to the left of that, guys, is the Strymon Timeline. I've got to be honest, I'm still finding my way with it. I've got 3 presets set up in that pedal at the minute, so I've got a slapback delay, which I quite like. I really like that. I've never used a slapback in my life, and I find it really useful. I've got my settings for Let's Dance for the Nile Rodgers repeats throughout that song. I'm not doing any stereo wet and dry, guys, just not got the room or anything to do that, so it's just a general kind of timing kind of thing. And I've got a regular analog delay going on within that pedal. Now, the interesting thing, guys, if I get on a little bit more with the timeline, which means I can free up the carbon copy, I can take the carbon copy off the board and I could possibly put this on, which is the MXR Univibe. Yes, it's a bit of an interesting paint job. It's been featured in a video before now, but it's the regular MXR Univibe, but with just a limited edition paint job. And that can go on the pedal board as and when I need to use a Univibe. So I've got some degree of flexibility within the pedal board. And to be honest, I'm really enjoying it. I really am. So in terms of the connectivity between each and every pedal on the pedal board, I normally use MXRs, patch cables, the robust, the built like tanks, and I've never had a failure at all. Now, my good friend Rob gave me 2 patch cables a couple of weeks ago to try out whilst I was doing the pedal board build. And to be honest, I'm really impressed with them. And I'm just looking at my notes, guys, made by a company called EBS. They're very small, high quality. It's like a thin, flat cable, if you will. And these are part of their premium gold range. And I was that impressed, I've decided to do the entire board with some more of these. I decided to order a bundle of these from Andertons to the tune of £53.93. And within that price, I paid for next day delivery because I needed to get the pedal board built for a gig which was arriving at the end of that week. And to be honest, I ordered them on the 30th of August and they arrived on the 3rd of September. And I was in a bit of a rush at the end of the week and I thought, I paid for next day delivery and it took 4 days. Okay, so I did a gig in Blackpool last weekend with this pedal board, and I've got to say, guys, it performed brilliantly. I loved it. There's a couple of little tweaks I've got to make. One is that I really must stick a rubbery grippy surface on here because this was getting kicked about all over the stage. It wasn't a carpet stage by any means, and I need to sort that out, stop it moving, because every time I press the pedal, it wasn't where I left it the next time I needed to use it. So another thing that I'm going to basically try is, and I'll just show you what I mean, guys. So I use the 4 cable method in getting my guitar signal to and from the amplifier via the effects loop, and I used to keep the 4 cable method hardwired to the pedal board, and this time around I thought I would just keep it as it sort of is really. And to be honest, I coiled this up at the gig the other night, and to be honest, it's a bit of a faff when you've got a time limit. And what I think, I'm going to put it down, guys. I'm going to put it down. Anyway, so I think I prefer the other way I used to do it, and that's hardwire it to the pedal board so it's permanent. And when the pedal board goes back in its case, I then wrap carefully the 4 cables around the extremity of the pedal board so it's stowed and kept nicely within the flight case with the pedal board, and it's not much of a faff compared to what I've got there, which I've just showed you, which I've got to be honest guys, it was an absolute faff of the gig. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Gigs and Guitars with this sort of loosely sort of final incarnation of the pedalboard project. I know it's been a little bit of a talk through or a walk through on what I've done with it. I'm really pleased with it at the minute. I've got a lot of flexibility that I can make with this pedalboard depending on the needs at the time. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a like, please give me a share, please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and we will see you in the next edition of Gigs and Guitars for some of your fine guitar content. Goodbye!